Hey guys, good morning. Wanted to go over this morning my notes. I had chapel this morning, so I'm the chaplain at a small Christian school here in Castle Rock, Colorado, Summit Christian Academy, and it's an amazing honor to do that. And I dug in the devotion today, and December 19th, dethroning idols. In this way, the Lord's message flourished and prevailed. Acts 19:20. In this way, the Lord's message flourished and prevailed. And I tapped into that, and I also tapped into we started with gratitude. So what are you thankful for? And it was cool. I didn't know they were doing a music production. I know they've done that before. And there's something that's super amazing about a band made up of children that are studying these instruments, that are learning how to play, that have the courage to stand up there and sing, and what they're singing. They're singing praise music about Jesus, and it's just awesome. So that's how I started my day, sitting there watching a bunch of young people kick off the morning. Many of the parents were there watching their kids perform, and then that's the way it started. And then I'm allowed the honor to stand up there and pour into them and reaffirm them and tell them who God says they are. So it's super cool. And the first thing I showed them was, I've got it on right now, and these are two. It must be Pastor Garment Day. A buddy of mine, I can't even show it because it's underneath here, but it says, a buddy of mine, Pastor Frank Short, out of Pennsylvania, great dude. There's a logo on here. I was not prepared, sorry. And it's a fish, and it says C the number one, B the number one, and MK the number one. So Christian's fish, C one, B one, make one. And I love it. Just such an amazing message of discipleship. And I even incorporated that in some of the stuff that I'm doing for Able Shepherd. Was we've got a course that we're going to extend. It's a pilot course for only a few people, and if they want to come, I just kind of put some feelers out. It basically looks like this: come and watch, see how we do things, and then so we're going to show them. Then they're going to present it, like show me, like become one. You're going to see it perform for you, and then you're going to become an instructor at a very basic level, and then you're going to go make people that are capable back in your home. So right now, it is corners of the country, basically. It's Maine, Montana, and Texas. You probably know who these guys are. The other one's JD Small. What's up, brother? I got my Forge. So I was saying, the Forge is his organization, his men's group that's got hundreds of dudes getting after it. And I was just out there speaking at one of his events, and these guys are on fire. They're getting after it, and he'll be one of the people invited. So we're just it's a pilot course. We're trying to figure it out, costs, travel, all that. Not Able Shepherd program, as many of you know it. It would be to become an instructor and at least give a sampling of what it's like to pour into people. Not only, and when I say this, bear with me for a second, not just talking about God, not just shooting guns, not just facilitating adventures, not just pursuing the hearts of men, making them better so they're better examples to future generations, but it's smashing that all together. So what I've found very quickly is that not very quickly, it all slammed together very quickly, but it's been a lifetime putting this together. I just did a podcast last night talking about this, was that if you're a good facilitator, instructor, you actually care, and you're gifted at investing into people, you can invest in many, many areas, right? So in the CI, I took a course called the Facilitator's Course, and you're facilitating someone else's message, right? So it's like this isn't mine, I own it. Some of that is, you do present and teach and instruct, but sometimes you just facilitate discussions. We are very much, and I want to hear from this community, by the way, the Peterson Academy just launched, and I looked into it, and it's an amazing opportunity. I just did a podcast last night talking about this. I don't know that I care to send my kids to college. If they end up going that way, we'll discuss it. We'll look at it. We're not cutting that off, because some Christian universities, and that's all I'll consider at this point, is a Christian university. But even that needs it needs some work, and me looking at it, critiquing it, and saying, what are we really doing here? Is it efficient? Is it efficient? I'm gonna spend this much money to have somebody else be an authority in my kid's life, and then they come back worse. Not going to happen, right? If they're not coming back better, then it's no value for my money. So the Peterson Academy is bringing in amazing people from all over the country, all over the world, some of the best speakers, thinkers, instructors, pastors, to condense information into a very efficient package. And it's $500, all you can eat per year, not month, per year. It's $500. And I'm looking at enrolling myself just to better myself as a man, to educate myself as a man. And then my daughter, I'm trying to get her to check it out so potentially she could do this as college. So it's an online thing, and we're considering in our new facility as we expand to facilitate this university, meaning everybody would get, pay their dues, and then why wouldn't you do it together? So let's just meet, hit play, facilitate. Jordan Peterson, Jonathan Pageau, like all these amazing speakers, thinkers, and all that, facilitate that together. I hate homework, so there will be no homework. We sit there and we figure it out. So whatever we're studying, talking, hashing it out, if people are going to test to get eventually it will be accredited. It's not right now, but that's not why you don't necessarily need accreditation, right? If you've got all of this data saying that I did this much study and I took the tests and I got the score, there are people that would hire you and they'll help with job placement. So that's very attractive. As I look to the future with 4 children and one of them, creeping up on college, it's something that we may facilitate in our learning center. So it's going to be a training center. Well, I get to define that. So what's it going to be? So back to this. In this way, the Lord's message flourished and prevailed. Some of the points that I brought out to these young people, and we had a discussion both ways. The righteous lives of the Christians the righteous lives of the Christians should, in stark contrast, I can't speak today. All right, here we go. Not today, Satan. The righteous lives of the Christians stood in stark contrast to the hedonistic practices of the idol worshipers. And I asked them, how should we as Christians be internally and externally different? One of the things that they showed me this morning is that they had the courage, sacrificed their time to practice on these instruments and the courage to stand in front of a bunch of people and perform, and worship God in a time when it's out of fashion, right? You do it because it's the right thing to do. And idols, anything that diverts our attention from God. And I say, what are some idols? And immediately it was internet, huge, TV, sports, like anything that's going to distract you, divert you, redirect you from your attention to God. Now, all of those things you can do to glorify God, but that's not what I'm seeing. It's not saying like, yeah, I do this. I glorify God by doing this and leading a prayer and honor, and praying for the Christians on that team and the people who stand, like Jonathan Isaac and all that. I won't kneel. I won't wear Black Lives Matter. My God's bigger than that. We're not doing this, right? That's why he gets my business right now. That's why he deserves attention, because he stood for something good, not because of what he would get out of it. He risked everything because it was the right thing to do. People do not like to have their idols dethroned. So how would people push back? And there were some stories coming out of there of persecution of these young people because they gave somebody a Bible and told them about Jesus. They got made fun of. We brought up the Marvel movie, Captain America. He says language when somebody says like a curse word, and he says language, and they all make fun of him for being decent, right? If you don't think there's a war of good and evil, then you're not looking, right? So it's time to pick a side. Are you going to be decent or not? So some of these people, including the people I mentioned, right? It's not everybody, and it's not, I'm not in charge of them, I'm in charge of me. Like, you don't hear me running my mouth and dropping GDs and F-bombs. You just don't, right? Because I've picked my side on the war of good and evil, I choose decency. There it is. Yet as we uphold Christ, others will see a difference and be drawn to him and the life that he offers. So not me. I want you drawn to me. I want you drawn to the Christ-like characteristics that I'm trying to live every day between breakfast and dinner, so that to secure your eternity. It's not look at me, look at me. It's follow me as I follow Christ, right? And if I fall, please help me up, and we'll just keep going, right? But it's more like a mirror than an internal light. Talked about Matthew 5:16, one of my favorite verses. Let your light so shine before men so they'll see your good deeds and glorify you. No, glorify your Father in heaven. So honor, we get honored by glorifying God and giving it straight to God. When we get glory, it's not no guts, no glory. That if you want to buy a Ram truck, just buy a Ram truck. But it's not because of guts and glory, right? Glory doesn't belong to us, so don't try to hold on to it. Hand it to God. And in doing so, some of the honor sticks to you, and we do get to keep that. So glory's not for us. It will devour you if you cling to it. But as you glorify God, then you do receive honor. And then you blink, and then all of a sudden you become honorable. And that's a good way to be. It's a good model for life. Recap on last week. We talked about this. We're at 9 minutes. Okay, we're getting closer. Recap from last week. What is true of all cultures? All people want to be respected and treated with dignity, regardless of the situation. All people would rather be asked than told what to do. This is from Verbal Judo, actually. All people want to know why they're being asked or told to do something. Like, why? All people would rather have options than threats. Even my kids, give them options. I get to pick the options, so they're doing what I want. I pick 2 options, they pick. They feel powerful, but both of them, I don't give them a bad option. I'm their dad, right? I give them good options, but I let them pick. Why do I let a 6-year-old pick? Because it makes her feel powerful. Little bodies get bigger. Taught them from the time all my kids were 3, the word no meant no to this guy. When they said no, I'd tickle them and no, and I would stop, because that's a powerful word. And if you teach them that in their teenage years, then that word is powerful to the most powerful person in my life, which is my dad. It better be to this kid, right? And that takes a lifetime to teach them to actually believe it. 7 avoids: avoid sarcasm, victims/martyr, misattributing, meaning putting words in people's mouth, no lying, no grandstanding, no compromising integrity, no weakness, only strength, true strength. So no weakness, only true strength. And when you run out of yours, proceed in Christ's strength within you. And it's a good way to live. And I catch myself like kind of, let's soften this up. No, let's not. There's a time to do that, and that's also strength. But this is time for a direct conversation. So I move forward. And then I get to pray with them and remind them that they're chosen, that they are saints, that they are forgiven, that they are children of God, and the lights of this world, and we need them desperately. And it truly is an honor to pour into these young people, because they're our future. And if you're not, figure it out. Like, what are you doing? Not what are we doing, because we gives you somewhere to hide. What are you personally doing about it? Right? You know the problems. What are you personally doing? Lead something, whether it's your family, whether it's prayer group, whether it's 2 guys online, whether it's 5 dudes, whether it's 100 dudes, whatever. Find a place to lead and get after it, because the world needs it. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great day. Take care of one another.